So, I've been telling you guys about EMF broadcasts, and that EMF broadcast is the main thing that's going on. Remote neural monitoring is all about EMF broadcasts 100%. So, it all works from EMF broadcasts, and there is no nano particles and microchips and anything else. Uh, Pretty much. I mean, those things may exist, but they're not putting nanoparticles in your food, and they didn't put a dental implant or any kind of implant. It's not even V2K. It's artificial telepathy is what's going on with remote neural monitoring. But it's all about EMF broadcasting, EMF waves, and the electromagnetic field of Earth. And every human has their own EMF signature frequency. Your body resonates at a certain frequency, so it's unique, like DNA, and every human has a unique frequency. So that's what the system locks onto, and then you're on neural monitoring forever. And the gang stalkers are on neural monitoring, and a lot of other people have neural monitoring that are not gang stalkers. They just have access to it, and they're not being targeted by a broadcast. Now, if they're targeting you, they can target you by following you around and the street theaters and whatever else. But the only way they can know about everything of like where you are and all that stuff, because you don't even have to have a device. They know all of this from neural monitoring, and they're gang stalkers, and they'll mess with you around in real life. But mostly they sit at home on a mind control headset and EMF broadcast device, and they broadcast, and the broadcast device makes you in a catatonic sleep state, and you could basically call it a rape machine because that's how a lot of gang stalkers use it when they all get together. Whoever's on the broadcast, that's just a body laying there, and that's how they do that. So on mind control, they connect to each other, and they can feel each other's senses and all of this stuff. And on broadcast, they can live virtually as a broadcast, like an outer body experience. And the so-called direct energy weapons are really a broadcast that they are controlling and living virtually as, and they attack you with it just by touching you and doing stuff to you with the broadcast. I guess you could consider it a direct energy weapon in a way. But this video is a tutorial, and this video is about exposing EMF broadcasts, and I've done a bunch of different ones before, and I'll probably just put this in the playlist, but this one's a little bit more important because somebody sent me some pictures, and I could just, I could see broadcasts, so I could see the broadcast in her pictures really well, and I could see the broadcast really well in her pictures. So I decided to go ahead and try some things with that because I thought maybe I could get a full link out of it and gain some access to something. So I went ahead and started messing with it, and I was using a couple of magnifying glasses, and I did some editing, and I really came up with some cool stuff. So I decided it's better for everybody to be doing the same thing. Okay, so when a gang stalker broadcasts to you, all right, and there's different ways they can broadcast a hologram near you and live as it, and if they're doing that, then that's different really than getting the broadcast and the links in the air like I'm talking about. If they're just where they are and they're on mind control and they're broadcasting whatever they're doing, usually a sexual orgy thing or something like that, and they're broadcasting that to you on remote neural monitoring, then when that's coming to you in the air, it's going to have links in it, and you'll be able to see the people where they are doing what they do. And sometimes I can see that anyway without any editing or anything, and in real life, especially in reflections and stuff like that. And I don't know if it has to do with the light sensitivity of your eyes. I believe that it has to do with the speed that your mind can process the waves if your eyes can see the waves. So if you're one of those people that is gifted enough to see broadcast, then you know what I'm talking about. And there's not a lot, but people understand what's going on, and they're starting to understand that this is how neuromonitoring works. And all these people get on mind control together, and they do these sexual things, and they broadcast it as a gang stalk. And you're targeted by a broadcast, and this is a broadcast to you, to your mind, to you. So you know, you may get visions in your mind, and you may see them where they are in your mind. You may see them off of reflections, but you could definitely see them in photography. And I'm getting better at it. I really am. So I don't practice on this that often because I feel like it's difficult. It is difficult. And a broadcast can see broadcasts, and it's like an advertisement to other broadcast people when they're broadcasted. So you know, I'm sure they have softwares that can just make it come out perfectly too, but I still say the best way is to learn computer programming and coding, and especially the developer side of Facebook and Instagram and Messenger and all of the Facebook companies, because that's what gang stalkers use to do their live streams, and that's their main stage for all of the things they do is Facebook, linking neuromonitoring into Facebook apps and sharing it around that way. And they use the developer side of Facebook a lot. And these gang stalkers aren't hackers for the most part, but they have access to stuff like that from hackers. They all help each other because nobody wants anybody to get caught, even if you're just a mind-controlled junkie rapist. They still don't want you to get caught because that gets everybody caught. So they don't want the stuff exposed, and they think they're cooler than everybody else for being able to broadcast. Personally, I prefer real life, but you know, and I don't want to be in a sleep state while people have their way with my human body. But you know, go ahead and check out my editing techniques, and some of this stuff is cool. It's not, you know, I'm not the most professional at it, and I just kind of threw this together. So check it out and see what you can do with your own photographs. All right, so show you my setup here. Is this lamp with the curvy top with the adjustable top, and then I have this this high-end scientific magnifying glass with these industrial little straps right here that cost $80 a piece. No, I'm just kidding. It's a rubber band and a hair barrette or hair bow, whatever, and then just like a $5 magnifying glass. Okay, then I've got my Mac Pro here, and I've got a picture that I've worked on editing a little bit, and I really didn't do much, but I spent about 20 minutes, and I made a bunch of different copies of the edit. So let me get started here. So basically what I've got here is an edited picture to show the EMF broadcast. And just like I've always told you guys, EMF broadcast contains links. You can see people where they are, or you can see whatever they broadcast to you for, or out for an advertisement for other broadcast people to see. So many cases there's links built in almost all cases. I think there's links built in, so you can see the links to their stuff when you look at EMF pictures. Like we're living in the Matrix, really, and all of this stuff is broadcast with waves in the air. So what you're dealing with is an EMF broadcast from remote neuromonitoring. So I'm going to zoom in a couple times on this picture, and I was already zoomed in some because somebody sent me this picture, and I was doing it for them. But it's just such a good picture to show the EMF broadcast. So I really wanted to just do a tutorial and show you guys like some of the ways that I've been going about doing this. So it's good to get some kind of mount for your magnifying glass or whatever glass you're going to use, because it just makes it a lot easier to see. And I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so now right here we're already working with something that's just about readable. You know, I can't exactly make it out, but you can just about read that. And all I've done is zoomed in with a camera and a magnifying glass, and that looks like maybe LABR, you know, and I can't make it out, and then it goes into the rest of the word. Looks like LOILD. I'm not sure, but it just goes to show you that you can look at these photos and get EMF broadcast. So let me scroll around a little bit, see what else I can find. You can see faces and stuff there, but if you take different edits and get different, bring out different spectrums in different edits, then it makes it easier. Right there, you can definitely see some kind of link. Maybe RICCAL something something, but you can see that. You can see that's a link. All right, so let me turn it a little sideways. And when you refract the light like that, do you see how that brings it out more? It makes it just about readable. But this is in every picture that you have. And I also take a second magnifying glass and turn it the opposite way. Let me see if I can get something happening with that. This is all this in the experimental phase, and it would definitely be better if I, you know, if I were to get more professional about it with mounts and different things. But when you refract that light, it does something else with it. SLY. This is a whole different link. What you really need is 2 or 3 nice pieces of glass. Two or three nice pieces of glass and some mounts to hold this stuff in place so you could really dial things in. LOL. Now another thing that I noticed too is look at the pink part right there. And now look at the pink part at the very top of the magnifying glass. Sometimes when it's really blurry and it's hard to see, if you start to get it to kind of float then it almost becomes something that you could read. And you need your camera to be on adjustable mount, and you need your glass to be adjustable. If there was like something really professional that would like really dial things in and hold it in place really good, so you could really just kind of move things in small increments and dial it in, then you could really be able to figure out more. You see how that's just a blurry pink at the top, and then when you start to refract it, it starts to turn into something else. Now, as I'm looking at that, I'm right here next to that. I can see the green at the top of my magnifying glass. Look at those letters scrolling. You could literally just get an internet link to some sort of gang stalker broadcast scrolling by. So let me get that focused. There we go. Look at that. And that's some sort of link to some kind of neural monitoring stuff and gang stalker stuff. If you look, I got at the top of the magnifying glass a green link scrolling across. Then you got the yellow one up under it, and then down here at the bottom, you've got some kind of brownish color link, and then that pink in the middle is also some kind of link, but it's just not it's not refracted right at this angle. Okay, let me set this back down. So it may be that you want your camera to move instead of your lens. But right about there is when that green really starts flowing at the top. And it's just giving me a link right across my video. It's really quite amazing. And you have to use something like Photor and edit it where you can really start to see those letters everywhere. And then once you can see those letters, you can do stuff like this. And that's going to be a link to neural monitoring or a gang stalker site where they're live streaming a targeted person's life. And you know, and if you know, I always tell you guys I can see broadcasts. and I can recognize the stuff. I guess my brain has a good shape recognition system. Okay, but if you just look at the picture, you really don't see all of that well. I mean, you can see some stuff. Like you can see, focus. See, my camera won't focus that well because it doesn't know what to focus on. It's trying to, but it's not able to. This is a good camera too. This is my Galaxy Cam 2. It's about a $400 camera. It's got a long lens. It's not a really high quality camera, but as far as like portable cameras, it's pretty damn good. So let me scroll around. Now I can see those faces center screen pretty good right there. Let's see what they're talking about. But again, you got links flowing across the stuff. And it's gonna be the links to their sex orgies on mind control and their gang stalking of you and that kind of thing. You know, that's the kind of thing that they do, and that's what the links are gonna be about. It's gonna be EMF broadcast. That's all gonna be EMF broadcast. And everything EMF broadcast is remote neuromonitoring or neuromonitoring, because maybe you have your own neuromonitoring. Maybe you're not targeted and you have your neuromonitoring. So, you know, that's what this stuff is. It's like a advertisement to their gang stalking and to their orgy stuff. That's why you oftentimes see stuff like that. And you can turn it the other way. Let's see. You turn it like that way. If you give it some kind of angle, it seems to refract everything better. You just want to find the right angle. I'm too close. I'm not close enough. I mean, let me see. What else can we do? Yeah, I know some of my videos are kind of bootleg. I mean, I'm just a guy that's being targeted, and I do this stuff to show you guys how it's done, how I've figured out how to do these things. So, you know, I don't have a studio set up or nothing like that to do videos. I just do them. I do them in one take, and I don't care. I just put it out there. I want you guys to have this information. Look at all of those letters. You'd be amazed at some of the things that I've seen in some of these photos where you can literally see people on the mind control equipment, you know, the headsets, and you can see people on broadcast. You can see girls laying there that look like they're dead. And you know what's happening to them. They're not dead. They're just in a sleep state on the broadcast device, living virtually as a broadcast while their real human body, you know. So this particular edit, I really focused on trying to get the letters to come out, because that's the more important part to me, because that's what you can get something from. I mean, if you look right there, right there, I can see a girl right there. Like, that would be her butt, center screen. Sometimes you have to refract it just right to get things to show up. That's why you really need a setup that has like adjustable perimeters that are really precise, that you can maintain and hold to a certain point, and then just adjust in increments. Okay, so here we have, this is a girl's hair, all right? And in her hair, you can see the broadcast really well. So that right there appears to be a girl's face. And there's some kind of link right above it. That is definitely a girl's face. Okay, but you see how when you refract it just right, it looks right. Otherwise, it doesn't look as good straight on, straight ahead. So it's harder to tell what's going on with that straight ahead. Okay, right here is a few people. Let me. Okay, right here you can see a link to something right here. Difficult to make out. Okay, so right here again, you can see as I move, you can start to see the link scroll across the top, those letters, and up under them, those are people. So let me adjust outward one time. Tell you what, let's go down here a little bit. You can see that link, but it's blurry. And you can see some people fairly clear right there. It would probably help if you had a manual focus. I'm definitely having some issues focusing. What I'm having right now is I'm having Marcus go on my camera lens with his EMF broadcast, and this is why I can't get this camera to focus. It's a pretty nice camera, and it usually would focus. So it really won't focus at all. Well, I'm switching now to my handheld camera, my phone, and the reason is because Marcus keeps going on my lens with his broadcast to make it blurry. So right there, you can see a few people and some things going on with EMF broadcast, and you can see kind of what they're doing. You can see these people, and they have mind control stuff going on and broadcast stuff going on. Looks like some kind of weird helmet on this girl's head, and this guy's got something going on too. They're on broadcast. And then you can really see, you can see the link above them, like right here, going across this light red kind of. You can see that going across. You probably could edit that to a different spectrum and make it show up better. You can also see several links going on right here. Looks like maybe some more people laying down here. You can kind of see a link going across there. And you can see that girl's face really well. Again, with some kind of something device on their head. Most likely a mind control headset. You see when you refract the light, you can start to see different things. But I'm using a handheld camera now, so you really want to get this stuff dialed in with devices that can be mounted onto something and really like a more serious setup. Now right there you can see really well that link going across the top. It starts to, when you refract the light, it starts to float. The link will start to float. So you can see that. And you can see the people. You can see the people. And then you can see the link. Just adjust that slightly. Look at that. If you get it just right, you can see all those people. And you can kind of see what's going on there. You know, I got this gang stalker on my channel named Marcus. He just said, oh my, this is somebody else sent me this picture. He said, oh my God, they're doing the same thing we do, raping the girls. That's what he said just now. Because they just, whoever gets on the broadcast device just goes into a sleep state. And then the rest of these gang stalkers just have their way with them. But then they broadcast this stuff. And that little smudge that's looking like something, I believe that's my broadcast. That's the one that's coming to me. I want to get that refraction just right. You can start to see the people. You can start to see the links. And you can start to see what they're doing. Look at that link just start to grow out of nothing. All right, so that was that, and that's it's just, as far as I've gotten with my editing techniques, and I've done some other things with with black screens of devices that are off, and smudges on the screens, and I've even used like Crisco on a screen and stuff like an iPad screen, and different kinds of lighting on that, and there's different ways to expose broadcast, but in photographs, the broadcast is there. All right, and when you're trying to expose it in real time, it's a little different. And plus, they could just turn it off if you get good at it. But in photographs, it's there and you got it. So, you can find a lot of stuff in photographs. So, and it's good to take several edits of the same photograph to get the different spectrums. And you can layer them in a layering app, and that'll bring out stuff that you can't see otherwise. And also, just look into different areas of the photos with different edits, and it brings out different things. And another thing you may notice is that a lot of times you'll see the same thing, like you might see the same group of people at a different angle. Okay, and in a different spectrum, it will be at a different angle, and that's how the EMF broadcast works. So, if you might see somebody standing there or doing something or whatever, and then in another portion of your picture in the EMF broadcast, exposing that, you might see the same people at a different angle, from the backside or something like that. So it works different ways, but this is what I've been telling everybody for a while, and it's starting to catch on, but it's gonna catch on because I'm making it pretty difficult to dispute at this point. And still get your EMF meters, your EMF detectors, learn the developer side of everything. Learn all of it, and become a master hacker and an expert photography editor and an EMF expert. All right, you do those things, you'll get your neural monitoring. But those are the important things to be able to get it. So this is Kevin Christian, and you saw it here first.